We can, and you look great.
Thank you, thank you. It's always fun doing the little sprint from the office that we're presenting from to this one where the Oozle speakers present from. But I'm so excited to be here today. Again, this is my fourth year speaking. I'm going to be a part of that panel discussion later this afternoon as well that Chris just plugged. I've already seen some questions come in, both to the panelists and to everyone. Again, if you're throwing stuff in the chat, just a reminder to set your setting to everyone so your peers can kind of see what's going on. Now, I have done a test run of this presentation a handful of times, and there's no way to keep it to just 20 minutes. So I know the session titles technically 10 ChatGPT prompts to level up your beauty school operations. What I'm going to do is go through a handful of those 10 today. And I've got a QR code at the end of my presentation that anyone can scan, get a copy of those. Also, my presentation today is probably going to be a little bit less polished from a technological standpoint than some of the other ones where you've got the slides just going through. Rather than show you slides like I did last year when I was talking about AI, I'm going to share my screen directly with ChatGPT and show you the reactions that we get from it, for better or for worse. So we might get some comical outputs today, but I think that's going to be best that everyone just kind of goes through it with me. And at this point, I suspect that most of the people on this call have not only heard of ChatGPT or Gemini or some of the AI tools out there, but also had an opportunity to play around with it. When I was presenting on AI last year, it was kind of new. It had only been out to the general public for about 6 months. And so I was answering some questions, maybe made a few people scared about the compliance and things like that, which I think is still a good fear and concern to have. But we're going to go through some things. So let me go ahead and share my screen real quick, and we'll jump into things. So hopefully you guys can see this. Again, if you want your beauty school to look this pretty, I'm going to give a shout out to Michael Risk, our designer in-house. Our whole design team has come together to make our slides today look really, really amazing. The backgrounds for Chris, and this is the type of marketing we do for beauty schools. So again, really love the slides this year. Shout out to Michael. Let's jump into things. So right out of the gate, I do want to differentiate a couple things. There's a free version and a paid version of ChatGPT. I saw someone in the chat already say that they've purchased ChatGPT access for their school, and I'm going to be using the paid version today when I share my screen in ChatGPT over there. So I just want to make sure it's kind of clear that you may be seeing some things today that I'm doing that if you go into the free version, you might not have access to. The biggest thing on the paid version, which is $20 per month currently, I believe, per user, is I can generate images. I can do, I've got access to better support if things aren't working the way that I need them to. I have integrations to tools. So there are already some CRMs out there that can connect to ChatGPT and just some deeper customization, personalization options. I would say the biggest advantage of the paid version of ChatGPT is it has a much broader database that it can connect to. The free version had a cutoff date. I think at one point that was the end of 2021. So if something was published by 2021, it could pull from that. They're changing the limitations and the features of the free and paid version almost every day. So that does change pretty quickly. So I'm sure by the time that this goes out on the on-demand library, some of the things I've shared could already be out of date. But that's the exciting part, is that right now we're seeing the technology the worst it'll ever be. It's only going to get better from here. And I want to share a couple ways that we can use that in the beauty school world. So not just marketing. I know Oozle Media is a marketing agency, but I have two kind of prompts for each of these five categories. And apologize for the typo. I see that I've got number 4 on there twice, but I've got 5 categories here: student recruitment, engagement, content creation, customer service, and alumni relations. So in that QR code I'm going to share at the end of my session, you'll get 2 prompts for each of these that you might want to use, you might not want to. They might give you ideas for other ways to use ChatGPT. But in my kind of test runs, I've got some really great outputs that I would use for any of our clients and feel pretty comfortable with relatively minor tweaking. There's always going to be things you're going to want to do to make sure that your own school's voice is represented, that things don't sound too generic. If you've got a good marketing partner, be that in-house or an agency, that's going to be what they're doing is they're going to be using this tool as a basis or foundation, and then their expertise is going to elevate whatever the output is, and just add value. So they're able to move faster, better output, using AI, but not relying on it to do 100% of the marketing that you might be looking for. So without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing my screen with these slides. I'm going to share it again directly into a ChatGPT window as soon as I find where those went. Let me go over here and share that screen here with you. Okay, let's see what we've got here. We have got ChatGPT right here. Okay, like I said, a little less polished between these transitions, but that's all right. So I have gotten permission to use one of the schools that we've worked with a long time. I'm going to pretend that I am a beauty school owner. I own Summit Salon Academy, Tacoma out in Washington. I don't actually, but for the sake of today's example, I'm going to present myself as kind of the owner of the school, looking to ChatGPT to help me out. So one of the first things I'm going to do before I use any of these prompts that I'm going to share with you in that QR code is I'm going to give ChatGPT, and again, I am using the paid version. I'm going to give it some insight into what I'm looking to accomplish. And I recommend that everybody else, whoever uses it, starts out chats this way as well. So I'll say, hey, chat. And hopefully you guys can see my screen. Let me know in the chat if you can't see let me know if you can't see this screen, and I'll keep an eye on the chat. But oh, I just got the thumbs up, so we're good. So hey, chat, I own a school called Summit Salon Academy, Tacoma. Pardon my if I make any typos or anything in here, but we'll get that. And I need help with my operations. I'm going to give you a few prompts today and need your help. Here is a bit about me. You can find my school here. And then one of the things I recommend doing, especially if you have a great website with good content, is, this is AI. You don't have to structure things. I can take anything from the homepage and copy and paste it. So maybe I'll give it this introduction about me. I'll paste it in here. And then more context below. And then I'm just going to go directly to their cosmetology page for the sake of this example. And I'm going to Control A. We'll get rid of this real quick. Control C, Control V, everything from that page into this right here below this context here. So this took the footer. I'm not doing anything to help format this. I'm not telling it what it is. It's taking stuff out of the form even. That's okay. We'll hit enter. And it's going to say something along the lines of, great, how can I help? Yeah, it looks like we're doing a lot. So I'm going to go over to my a different screen. You guys can't see it, but it's just these 10 prompts that I have. And the very first thing I'm going to ask it is, maybe I want an autoresponder email that goes out to all my students every time that they fill out a form. So when someone fills out a form, I want to acknowledge that we received their information. And rather than just giving them a thank you page, which they should be directed to, I want to confirm that their email was input correctly. So we're going to send them a personalized email. So I've pasted this in. Again, this is a prompt from the download at the end of my session that you'll get access to. It says, craft a personalized email template for prospective students showcasing the unique benefits of our beauty school programs. So this is just going to give us a basis, and I'm not going to take the time on today's presentation with the time constraints to really zhuzh it up and make it look like specific for this school where it is generic, but we'll take a look at what it comes up with. So out of the gate, we've got unlock your passion for beauty school or for beauty at Summit Salon Academy Tacoma is its suggested subject line. Great subject line for the first email they're going to be getting. Are you ready to transform your passion? Why choose Summit Salon Academy? Industry leading education, partnerships that empower. Now, we've got a couple hundred of you on today, and I'm sure most of you are seeing some of this content that it's generating and thinking, hey, even if this isn't directly the way my school would speak, we've got some issues here with compliance. And I think that is true. So I'm going to show you something that we can do here at Oozle Media, and you guys could take the time to create if you had a paid version of ChatGPT 4. But we're going to take this whole email copy, which already is pretty solid. And you can edit this, change it. It's a great, it talks about, partnerships that empower. It talks about that they partner with Redkin, which it got from what I pasted in. You're going to want to go through and make sure that all this is accurate. Small class sizes, career focused curriculum, financial support, right? We're going to want to add things like financial aid may be available to those who qualify. But one of the things that we at Oozle Media have done is we took all of the NACIS compliant documentation, Department of Education, some of the stuff that we've got from working with beauty schools for the last 15 years, put it into a beauty school compliance guru chat. So this is something we use internally, or if we generate something, I can say, hey, chat, make this compliant. And then I'm just going to paste that email. And when I was doing my test run yesterday, I don't want to spend too much time on this single prompt. It did make it more compliant, but it also sounded more generic. So I went back to my chat, pasted it in there and said, hey, keep this compliant, but make it feel warmer and more personable. So you might have to work with it a little bit to get it the output that you're looking for, but you'll see that we've got things like industry leading education is changed to comprehensive education, which I may even lighten further. And it goes through a little bit softer, and it's usually will tell me at the bottom what it did to make sure that it stayed compliant. So it says, yeah, this version removed exaggerated claims and adheres to compliance standards by focusing on the factual aspects of the Academy's offerings and the support that it provides students. So we've got some tools we can use, might need a little bit of tweaking, but I've only been speaking for 10 minutes and we've got an email that if I had a CRM, I could load this in, tweak it a little bit to make it accurate, add some of this information like the admissions contact info that it generated. And I've got an autoresponder email that if I don't have anything going out to schools right now, I've just tackled in 10 minutes plus another 10 minutes getting it zhuzhed up and implemented in the CRM or on the website side of things. So we'll go back over to our chat that we started, Summit Salon Academy Tacoma, and we'll do another one. And maybe one of these ones that we'll do is we'll go into content creation. That was one of the sections that we've got some prompts for. And I am going to paste that over here. Provide SEO-friendly blog topic ideas that address common concerns of beauty school students. Now, I still get a lot of questions about, should we even be blogging? All of my students are on TikTok, and there's not blogs on TikTok or on Instagram and things like that. I know that a big portion of our audience are admissions professionals. And here's what I'll say about blogs. Even if they had no impact on overall SEO value, which they do, and even if they weren't driving organic traffic, which they do to your website and therefore leads, this is a good tool to have in the tool belt of any admissions person. If I am got someone that I'm got in the pipeline, they've got a couple days before they come in for a tour, but I want to make sure that I'm keeping them engaged. I talked to them today, 4 days until their tour. 2 days from now, I could send them a text and say, hey, we're really excited to see you in a day or two. Before you come in, let me shoot you this blog. It's things to do or things to ask on your beauty school tour. I just want to make sure you feel prepared. Or what is your first day of beauty school going to look like? Blogs like that are a great admissions tool. So you could use ChatGPT if you can't currently afford a partner and an in-house person to do some of this content for you to provide that. So let me put this in before I get too far off on a tangent that's not related to my presentation and paste this in here. Provide SEO-friendly blog topics that address common concerns of beauty school students. We'll hit enter and see what we come up with. And again, if I'm a beauty school owner, I am not going to necessarily rely on ChatGPT to write 100% of everything that comes out of this. I'm going to use these topics. Maybe I'll use these topics to generate a outline, but then I'll still want to write that blog using the voice and the things that I know about the beauty school that I run or own or operate or am a campus director for, that ChatGPT is never going to know or any AI is going to be able to tell from our existing website. So don't use this as a crutch to get things done too fast. You will run into compliance issues and it won't feel personable to the students or the things that make you truly special as a school or set you apart from the competition. But let's look at what we've got here for ideas. So we've got how to choose the right beauty school, factors to consider. If I'm in a really competitive market where a lot of my schools are going to the chain up the road and there's a non-accredited school down the road that's maybe a little bit cheaper and there's all these little things, I'm going to write a blog about my school, Summit Salon Academy Tacoma, and talk about things like that we've got financial aid, and that we've got, maybe multiple schedule styles to fit different schedules. Talk about those things. So we've got how to choose the right beauty school, financing your beauty education, scholarships, grants, and loans. So talking about financial aid, again, we'll have to consider we'll have to consider compliance for some of these things. The future of cosmetology, emerging trends in the beauty industry. So something trendy, engaging, what I would consider top of the funnel to get people interested in your school. Success after beauty school, career paths and opportunities. Again, another one that we have to be kind of careful for with regards to compliance, but a great thing to help parents. Even if I'm an admissions person talking to a concerned parent, hey, I'm worried about my child going to beauty school. I want to make sure that they're going to be set up for success. What does that look like? I can write a blog like that and send it out to parents, or put it in a QR code as part of the kit they get when they come into a tour. Maybe I've got a one pager that gets handed to parents when they get home, things like that for some of our younger students. All of these are great topics. And, if we take one of these and say, maybe it's factors to consider. Again, I'm going to want to write most of the content, but you can get help with that from ChatGPT by saying, write me an outline for how to choose the right beauty school. And we'll let that kind of generate here while we're looking through some of these ideas up here. So understanding state licensing requirements for cosmetologists. That's a great question. One of those kind of FAQ, frequently asked questions that comes up pretty often is what it takes to get licensed. Health and safety in the salon, what every student needs to know. Maybe that one is a little too focused or niche. I don't know if I would personally write that one, but again, we've got some good ideas to work with. Networking in beauty school. I had one that came up yesterday that was how, when I was doing a test run of this, how to create a portfolio for when I graduate. And what a great way to show that you support graduating students by having online resources for them to put together a portfolio and things like that. So here we've got an outline coming through how to choose the right beauty school. We've got an intro, talk about that we're accredited, talk about our reputation, curriculum, faculty and staff expertise, all of those things, location and accessibilities, financial aid and scholarships. And then it even prompts us to get a call to action in there. I have so many more. I wish I could have gone through ones like create an interactive quiz, drafting responses to the 5 frequently asked questions. We've got some in the alumni relations area. So people that have already graduated, like generating an email campaign for them to get them re-enrolled in continuing education classes or any of those courses and certifications that people who take flagship programs might want to come back for. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen real quick with these slides. I'll give you that QR code now before I'm up on time, and make sure that everyone has a way to access my contact information. Again, I think these 20-minute sessions are the perfect kind of bite-sized chunks, but they just are not enough time to go through everything I'd love to share with the audience. So let me go ahead and share this. I'll leave it up on screen for the next minute before I go to the next slide with my contact information, but scan this. I will put a link in the chat once I'm back at the other desk in the room with Chris, but if, for those that don't get a chance to scan this, but please go ahead and scan this while you can. It should take you to a downloadable PDF with my 10 prompts that I've put together. Try them in the free ChatGPT, try them in the paid. One of the things you can do is tell it to generate a header image, even if you've got the paid version for your emails and things like that. Sometimes they come out all right. Sometimes they're a little bit wonky. You can kind of learn to give it some feedback in the ways that I talked about giving it feedback for that email. One of my favorite parts of the Beauty School Summit every single year is actually this slide at the end. I've had a slide similar to this every year, and it is connecting with you guys in the audience. Normally, I'm not super accessible to folks that aren't clients throughout the year, but around the Beauty School Summit, I am as accessible as I can be. I've got my calendar cleared. Shoot me an email, pdickens@oozlemedia.com. I am happy to spend a free hour, whether you're a client with us or not, going through any questions you have about your marketing. We could do a lead to enrollment report together, looking through some of the missed opportunities where you're letting potential enrollment slip through the cracks. I will not try to sell you on stuff. If you like your hour with us or with me and you would like to work with us, of course, we're a business, we'll take yours. But again, this is a no pressure 1 hour with me to just sit down and kind of pick my brain. Again, there'll be another opportunity to pick my brain along with some of my peers, other leaders at Oozle Media at the end of today's Beauty School Summit. We've got that Q&A keynote at the end. So any questions you want answered today from some of those marketing experts, throw in the chat. Chris, thank you for the time. I'm going to throw it back to you and race back into that room.
Yeah, Parker, thank you